6 years ago, I was sitting out with some friend in New York City when I got a notification on my phone, and I was surprised to find that I had a text message from my grandmother. I was surprised because my grandmother at that time was 78 years old, and she had never sent a text before. And I'll tell you, the first text was adorable. It read, "Dear Andrew, trying out texting, love your grandma." I was like, "Oh, she thinks it's a letter." So I sent her a message back. "Hey grandma, it's a text, you don't have to include all that." Her response was, "Dear Andrew, okay, love your grandma." My favorite part is it's always love your grandma, like if it was love grandma. I'd be confused if it was like, "Dear Andrew, have a good time in Texas, love grandma." I'd be like, "Grandma, who's grandma?" But my grandmother's still figuring something out. A couple of years ago, I went to Switzerland for work, came back, sent a message to my grandma, "Hey grandma, just got back from Switzerland." Her response was, "Dear Andrew, Switzerland, WTF." Alright, so I called my grandmother up. "Grandma, what do you think WTF means?" And she's like, "Oh, well, someone at Bridge told me it means, wow, that's fun." I was like, that is exactly what it means. I'm not gonna explain that to my grandmother. I think the world would be a happier place if more people thought WTF, if more people were like my grandmother and thought, wow, that's fun. Because in 2012, I left my corporate job at Procter & Gamble to teach people about the value of humor. I've worked with more than 35,000 people at more than 250 organizations on how to be more productive, less stressed, and happier using humor. But when people hear what it is that I do, they're a little bit skeptical. Because no one thinks of humor as a bad thing. Is there anyone here that doesn't like to laugh? Anyone that's like, "No, I hate feeling joy in my body"? No, people think of humor as nice to have. Oh, if I enjoyed my work more, if I had, it would be great, but if not, oh well. The reality is that humor is a must-have. In today's overworked, underappreciated, stress-filled, sleep-deprived culture, humor is a necessity. Because humor gets people to listen. It increases long-term memory retention, improves understanding, aids in learning, helps communicate messages, improves group cohesiveness, reduces status differentials, diffuses conflict, builds trust, brings people close together. It does these things. And this stuff, and on and on and on. And it's all backed by research case studies and real-world examples. These are some impressive benefits, right? Humor can help you to look better, live longer, and make it rain, right? Because people who use humor are paid more. And anyone can learn these benefits. Because when I talk to people about humor and comedy, sometimes they are intimidated. That event that I went to Switzerland a couple of years ago that made my grandmother say WTF, it was to speak at a conference. One of the other speakers at the conference was this gentleman. His name is Kevin Richardson. He is also known as Lion Whisperer. If you've ever seen the YouTube video of Lion, Harvey and Duke, that's this guy. He lives in South Africa. He raised lions from when they're really young, and they treat them as one of pride. He's basically a human version of the figure of the Lion King. But Kevin and I were talking before the event. He found out that I did stand-up comedy, and he was like, "Oh, I could never do that. It's too scary." I was like, "But you live with lions." As if telling a joke is somehow scarier than living with lions. But so many people have this perception as if the ability to make people laugh is somehow encoded in our DNA. But the reality is that humor is a skill, and if it's a skill, that means we can learn it. Because I'm someone who has had to learn how to use humor. Because I've done over 1,000 shows as stand-up comedian, improviser, storyteller, spoken word artist. I've spoken and performed in all 15 states, in 18 countries, and in one planet. I have fans in more than 150 countries based on people who have accidentally come to my website. I've been called hilarious and smart, at least that's what my mom said, and I've been seen on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart in the audience.